Hey guys, appreciate you tuning into my YouTube channel. Tuesday I've got a big special coming up with Cody Alexander, who in my mind is one of the smartest defensive guys you can have, and I'm going to try to be halfway decent on offense. We're going to talk about implementing a game plan and how to take in massive amount of information that we get now, because we have access to all kinds of stuff, and figure out what's important and what's not important and who to get the information to and how to make that actually show up on Friday night. So hopefully you'll get to tune into that. You can go to my website, it's under downloads, and reserve your spot. I've got a couple spots left for that. Anyway, today I want to talk about how a head coach needs to operate as a funnel. Okay, now I've done this before, but I want to make it as clear as I could. So as a head coach, our job a lot of times is to take in massive amounts of information and try to make it as simple as possible for those underneath us to have a clear direction, a clear vision of where to move forward. And what I do, and I would recommend this for you, but you do what you'd like to, is I try to understand who can handle more information. Okay, so for me, it's not the fact that I'm not willing to work and gain the information. I want to know under every rock, cranny, I want to know everything about who we're playing, okay, and get all that information. I want it all, okay? But I've learned through my experience that if you give some people too much, I call it paralyzation by overanalyzation. You give them too much and they just cannot operate. So you've got to find kind of the threshold of what they can handle. So that's where the funnel idea came from me. As the head coach, you need to know it all. Okay? Not only do you know the information, but why. You need to know the why. Why is that important? And the where. Where am I going to give that? Okay? Who needs that? And then your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator need to be right underneath you. They need to be able to handle lots of information and the same concept. They don't need as much as you do, but all your coordinators, your OC, your DC, your special teams coordinator, they need to know it all, okay? Underneath them, you've got your position coaches. They need to obviously understand more information than their players, but probably not as much as you or your OC or DC or special teams coach. Underneath them are your leaders on the team, your quarterbacks, or your guys that are analytical kids. We all have that overachiever. He may not be a leader on the team, but he's a guy who's extremely intelligent and can communicate that to other people, which to me makes him a leader. So those players you need to identify and make sure they're getting more of the game plan than the others. Okay, I know that sounds weird. We give out a game plan to all our kids, but there are certain kids we give more of the game plan to, and there are certain kids we give less of it to, depending on what they can handle. So that's the funnel. So your leaders, your quarterbacks, your really sharp kids that can handle this stuff, we give them more. Your upperclassmen, your seniors, your starters need to be able to retain more than that scout team kid or that sophomore. And if you're like me, you probably have a couple 10th graders that have to play for you, and you're just trying to get them lined up. You're trying to make sure they understand the one or two basic major concepts they've got to know. And then we hope that the leader on the field can help them throughout the game. That's where the idea of the funnel comes from. You don't want to give that first-year starter way more information than he can handle. You don't want to be unprepared. So as a coach, you need to know it. And our coaches will build it into our game plan. But there are some things we explain to our kids the why, and there are some things we just give certain kids because they can't handle the why and all the ifs and all that stuff. And so it's not that they won't eventually be able to handle it, just maybe not at that point in their career. So as a head coach, your job is to act like a funnel, to gain all this information, to streamline it, and make it as simple as possible for those who need it. Okay? And I'll be talking a little bit about that with Cody on Tuesday, and I've got a ton of information on that on my CoachTube